look, we're making the new counterculture whether they want it or not. So who's going to run the non-woke answer to Newsarama or the non-autistic IGN?
Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. He's the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who's running IronAge.media, creating Anvil, the anthology.
Iron Age.
Iron Age. Who
so-called
even knows?
Iron Age. Yeah.
My next co-host, the man who will absolutely make you change. And by making you change, what I mean by that is he is going to help you change from having that story in your head to putting it on paper and putting it into people's hands. And this is the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel P. Riley of whimsyland.org.
Number one Iron Age Booty Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Royce. Welcome back to A Drink with Crazy. I am buying a goat. I love goat. We have a show this evening, or we don't, and it all stops here. That's fine. And so cometh the Iron Age of media. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, crap, you could see me. Hi, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. Oh, good God. This
The fail stream begins.
Oh my God. Not everything, almost everything back. Actually, the only thing that could happen is if your computer also goes out. And that would be the trifecta. My rig is dead in the water right now. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. So I'm on my wife's computer, which is my old computer. Everly Music, he should be our host. He should be here. The internet, I quote said, "You have ruined everything that we love and hold dear. Therefore, we will not service your household." I heard that. You also heard this, correct? Right?
Yeah, that's my interpretation of it.
Yeah. So basically, Everly Music, he don't have internet. His house, at all. Period. He was here with his phone for a minute, and now he's not here. Our guest that we had scheduled this week. Oh my God. Is he here? He's sideways. Why is he sideways? Why? Hi.
That's not right.
That's. I don't think that's a shtick. This stream is absolutely. Glorious. Oh my God. Our guest
glorious
this week
chaos. Justin
was
sideways.
Oh, dude. I messaged the guest yesterday. He was like, "Yeah, dude, good to go." Legitimately, a half hour later, he goes, "Guys, medical emergency in the family." He was more detailed with me. I can't make it. So for those out there, I'm not going to say who our guest was supposed to be. I'm not but just prayers and thoughts to just think of the guest we were supposed to have tonight. God will know who you're talking about, because there's a medical emergency. They had to leave. They're not even going to be at their house. So the guest obviously had to take care of something. My computer died, which is much less hazardous. Everly Music's internet is, as you saw, Everly's internet has him sideways right now. What could happen in your life that you are sideways? And
madness.
Dude, it's just this whole... So we've been talking back and forth. What are we going to do? Well, the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to say hello to the chat. Hi, chat. How are you guys? Oh my God. Because my computer was down, I had to literally tag the super chat link and the merch link from my phone because my computer's not working. So I can't actually access any of that stuff. If you guys are mods down in the chat and you have access to the private donation link and all that stuff, please share that We share out the merch link. Oh my God. we were gonna like do this really awesome like interview with Daniel about G Sedai 2, and then Evely Music's internet decided to commit Harry Carey. So what we are going
Very
to,
hairy, Carrie.
dude, very Harry Carey, like unbelievably Harry Carey. Like you need to manscape some of that.
Just a little trim.
Guys, Daniel P. Riley is over on Fund My Comic. He is 55% of the way there with 45 days to go. You guys, if you have not checked out his first comic, which is based off of his novel that he wrote, you got to go check that out, guys. Go do that thing. It's freaking awesome.
There is a second chance at the Color Pop #1 available in this campaign too, by the way.
Yeah, that's freaking cool, dude. And it looks, guys, look at this color pop here. This is so freaking good. So freaking good. Like John Della Rose was even commenting on this and and highlighting it. So yeah, dude, so freaking good. Like, and I've noticed in the color pop, Gabriel has never had any color to him.
Correct.
I'm interested to see the scene he finally has color.
It happened in the first comic once, and it wasn't actually him. It was the white hair spirit coming out of the sword when he was defending Hannah.
That's what I'm saying. He has never been colored.
That's intentional, and it's going to be a while.
It's intentional. And my lore brain goes, "Oh, when's the important moment that it's intentional?" Guys, you've got to check this out. It's going to be freaking
Keep
awesome.
supporting the comics, and you'll see it.
Yeah, he lives. Hi, Evely Music. Are you here?
And
for real?
He's straight now.
I don't know anything anymore.
I don't know anything.
Maybe we'll see how long I last. I guess.
So
did your conversion therapy work? Are you straight now?
We're getting there. We're getting
there. He's not sideways anymore.
I'm not.
Yeah. I absolutely blame Iron Age Media, Richard. I blame Richard for this. When he left as a host, he took the luck ball with him and hid it away, and that's why all of our streams went off, usually without a hitch, unless like my daughter broke her arm or other things happened. But for the most part, we were good. He leaves. First stream, Richard is gone. Everything bad happens. Richard, this is your fault. I blame you. I don't know if you prayed to the karma gods and be like, karma, please just spite these men. But you know what, Richard? I am not thrilled with you right now. Please bring the luck ball back, or just put it in a place that we can find it, because we can't find it.
I think as he was getting ready to leave, he's like, let me just pull a couple of these plugs out here and make some fun for Royce for next week. We'll have a good time with that.
I think it's the fact that all week we've been talking about making changes and upping our game, and the universe went, we're going to make it as difficult as possible for these guys just because they plan so much.
Dude, we had a 2.5 hour long conversation on
and
Tuesday.
Multiple conversations on Discord over the week.
And we're getting ready. So one of the big announcements, guys, is where I'm actually going to take once my actual computer that died the day after. The day after we had this conversation. So once my computer is back up and running and I have access to all of these files again, we are going to take every single Iron Age Nights that's ever been done, and we are going to push it out to all of the podcasting platforms. And moving forward, once my computer is not dead, everything is going to be on every podcasting platform. So for those audio listeners out there who love to listen to podcasts and stuff, we're going to put it out there on those platforms, and we're going to start pushing forward with that once my computer isn't dead anymore.
But then you can hear Royce's wall fall down in HD.
That's right. It's full surround sound. It'll be like you're him in the chair, and you can hear it falling behind you.
Oh my god! Oh my god, dude!
You'll even be able to hear me slowly sink in the seat of power on some of those episodes. That's how
Dude.
crisp the audio is going to be. It'll be
That's impressive.
fantastic.
That's very
Seabass is a disgruntled former team member stole the luck. They did.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It's totally Richard's fault. So I think because of all of the technical difficulty, guys, I hope I sound good to you because I do not sound good to me. I remember why I upgraded from this soundboard. But I'm on my old setup, guys. Like this setup was the setup that I was using when the wall fell. And I don't want anything back here to fall because there's firearms and ammunition over here. Really don't want that to fall.
This setup looks like you're about to say to the chat, like, all right, guys, I'm about to do what's called a pro gamer move. All right. That's what it looks like.
Oh my
Either
God.
that or he's going to give us a tutorial on bunkering.
Oh, right. Dude, what is up with this week? Like it's just
I
hiccup.
blame the sun. I blame the sun.
I don't want to blame the sun because when the sun gets mad, things tend to die.
Yeah.
Oh,
did
Fire,
you guys-
That's the problem.
Did you guys see that article that we might have found a Dyson sphere around some far off stars? Around like
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did.
What? Huh? Like
Just keep that funding coming in. We'll find all kinds of things for you.
oh, dude, I'm down. Well, I mean, yeah, right. Oh,
Photoshop
getting back
for
to big. Crap! I actually have to use my phone for the private donation link. If anybody has sent any in, because it's not my computer. Hi, chat, guys. God, this is such a rough. The chat's gonna tune in just to watch us suffer. That's
If the road to 1,000, we need to start at the very bottom. I think so that when we achieve that goal, it just feels that much more.
This is the
They-
section of
they-
the road with all the potholes.
The car. This is when you go to get in the. You got the boys together. You go to get in the car, and you go out, and the tires are gone, and the car is just on cinder blocks. And it's like,
Mhm.
well,
Well, like that was going to be the show. It's like, guys, everybody help us out. Share the stream out. Let everybody know what we do here. We are chasing 1,000 subscribers on this channel. We really want to push that goal. I'm working on my personal channel. I'm even talking with other people to figure out how to do the things on that channel. But like we made it to 1,000 before. Obviously, we can absolutely do it again. This was like going to be like the announcement stream. We're going to say like, hey guys, this is really awesome. And then everything just died. And
Yep.
I don't.
it's the way it happened.
I don't.
It was meant to be this way.
Why?
Something about
Yes.
like you gotta
Thank you,
put down
Richard.
muscle to build it up or something.
I'm being
The,
blamed for everything exactly as I predicted.
I can't even.
Yeah.
See the chat.
Well, yeah. I wonder why you predicted it. Maybe because you planned it.
It's the what's the old saying? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and ends 1,000 miles away. I don't know, probably in like a desert or something.
Like a desert or something.
It's
The
it's
journey
Richard's
of 1,000
revenge for
miles
me
ends
making him
because
get
you
drunk.
die at that end of the 1,000 miles. Well, that's a heartwarming story. I love that.
Classic.
And you
mom
were
joke.
thirsty, and the oasis you saw was fake. It's not real.
So what did I miss? Did I miss all of the G Sedai coverage already?
No,
Oh,
No,
okay,
no,
good.
we're gonna be
we
pushing.
didn't even
G
get
Sedai.
there really. He like flashed
good,
it on the
good.
screen for a minute and
I
then
didn't
started
flash
complaining.
it on the screen. I had it up. I shared the links.
It was like one of those like very lightly rated R nipple flashes in a movie.
You fuck. That is not how that happened. Go fuck yourself. That's bullshit.
Can you remind me doesn't G Sedai, does it mean, was it the new era or the new people? or something?
Technically, the translation to it is second generation, but
That's it.
colloquially it means next generation.
Yes. Whenever I sneeze, I try to say it sometimes, and it's fun.
It's pretty close.
G-Sedai!
Or as Brian
Probably
McCobb
very
calls it,
confusing.
G Sedai, which I don't know what
G-Sedai.
that. Yeah.
Oh, I've heard all
Oh.
kinds of mistranslations of it.
Oh god.
I won't say what Bats calls it because I don't know if it would cause problems.
Oh
with the channel.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
Yes,
God.
he's
But he
already put it
knows.
in the chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so a lot of people know then.
Oh God. Oh. Brian McCoppin, if you said "and" instead of "a" right there, that would have been hilarious. At this point, guys, hey, let's check out this trailer for this book because the show was derailed by karma, I guess. I want to see this as an anime. I so want to see this as an anime. That'd be so freaking cool.
Hopefully,
that
we'll
trailer-
get there.
Solid.
Dude.
Now I have a question for you about. I was going to save it for later, but we'll jump right into it. That trailer is, it's awesome. Like it's the music, especially. Frankly, just the music is just.
Oh yeah,
I
I had a really
Kid-
great guy do that music for me.
I bet he's a nice guy. The trailer is really well made. It's got like good action, good movement. The guy when he screams, that's my favorite part. It's great. I would love to see. There's an anime that was on Netflix called, I believe it's called Way of the House Husband. You guys familiar? I think it's the one. It's like a Yakuza guy, and then he goes to like in any case, the style of the show is not a pure animation. It's done like a loosely animated comic where they have the still frames more or less. You might have some of those anime like lines or their mouth moves, and that's it. And I would love to see people do trailers or even a full-fledged out comic where it's like that, where you just have the frames and you add in the sound effects, the background music, have a little bit of voice acting, and it's that midway step between comic and anime. But I feel like that's way more attainable because animation that's an undertaking and it's not cheap.
Yep.
But doing that midway step, I think, would be.
Well, for me personally, I did think of something like that. I was considering following JVP's footsteps and doing the visual comic on a YouTube style like he did with Ruthless. But my thought on that is I can either spend the money on that or I can save the money on full animation.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And really, my plan is to at least get to where I can do a minute to a minute and a half fully animated intro that I can use as a pitch video and then farm for investors.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
If you do that, I at least want to attempt a voice for your I will offer because I like that would be so cool.
Royce gets to be the guy that just screams. He's just the scream sound. Or you can be the voice of the guinea pig. You can be the voice of heaven. Just squeak.
Yeah, just squeak.
How would you want the voice of the guinea pig? That's an dude. Animal sounds like that are fun.
Mhm.
My kids always tell me all the
It's your
time.
man.
My kids' friends will come over and they're like, Dad, you've got to do the Stitch voice. I'm like, what? They're like, Dad, talk like Stitch. And I'm like, all right. Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
Oh, it's not love. Throw away the dishes.
Yeah.
Make your bed.
Yeah. No, and it's so yeah, but like my kids are always having me do it. Then they tell me to do the alien noise. Dad, do the alien noise, which is a UFO noise.
Oh, I was picturing Alien the movie.
No, it's no,
Terrifying.
because I told him it was like a UFO, but I'm like, but I don't even know how I came up with it. I was like, but like my kids always come in, Dad, do the alien noise, I'm like, okay, hold on, because like I have to whistle and vibrate my larynx at the same time.
If you
So
pull out a
it's-
comb and a piece of aluminum foil, I'm gonna
Right.
be very happy.
So it sounds. I don't even know if it'll come through the microphone good, but.
That's pretty good.
But yeah.
You can definitely hear it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's that one. I have people look at me and they go, "How the fuck do you do that?" I'm like, I don't know.
You got to be careful though, because it's like a turkey call or a deer call, man. You do that too much.
No, those are way hard. I've tried those. Nope. UFO alert. Rays are coming. So does it actually sound like a UFO? Is that like the
the R away,
stereotypical like
correct.
1950s UFO? Like that's what I was going for. Oh no. It's the acorn trying to land again. Oh shit. Do you guys
I was gonna say I don't know what a UFO sounds like.
But
so
basically,
sure.
this is my pitch to when Daniel goes mainstream, and he's like, "Yes, I have enough money now, and I'm rich, and I'm gonna do an anime." This is my pitch to let I want to voice act in the anime. I will play side character number B75. I don't care. I should have said B52. That would have been a great music reference, and I didn't. Damn it!
There you go.
Born 70 years too late. Right.
Well, here's the question for you. Talking about voice acting, this is a question that I'm curious about with pretty much any comic or even the books I read. Obviously, whenever you have an audiobook, they do the different voices, but it's still that one person. Okay, so you're casting for G Sedai in terms of Gabriel, the lead in this, the fella, the katana, the hero, as it were. Who would you pick to play him if you had your choice of anybody?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I've actually never thought about it because he has his own distinct voice in my head.
Okay, I was gonna say if you say Royce, you're gonna make him very happy.
No,
I mean, like,
I've always when I hear these things in my head as I'm working on writing them, Gabriel comes off as soft-spoken and robotic, like he puts no effort into being heard because he just doesn't care because he was never expected to talk about things to begin with.
Oh, so he's emotionless.
Yes, at least in the beginning of the story. Everything starts to change when he meets Hannah and they start going through the things that they go through because she brings humanity out of him. But until then, he was designed just to be a weapon, so he had no reason to interact with people. And that's why he sounds so odd when he's interacting with Curio. Curio's insulting him and taunting him, and he's just very plainly responding like he doesn't understand. Scene. Yeah, he doesn't understand that the guy's trying to get a rise out of him because he doesn't care.
Such a great scene. God, that's so...
Gotcha. That makes sense.
That
other characters, Michael is loosely based off of what is his name? I think it's Andy Kwok. He's a actor. Michael was in his physicality and voice is loosely based off of him. One of the Eastern actors that I really enjoy and all the crazy kung fu films that I watch. It might be Quan. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up because it's blown out of my brain at the moment. But the style of hair, the very proper posture, his penchant for clasping his hands in front of him, like he's not concerned about being attacked because he's just that good. And his sophisticated mannerisms were loosely based off of that actor and a lot of portrayals that I really enjoyed. Yeah, it might be Andy Liu, actually. You might be right, Michael Harris.
Wick cut off, and I usually don't do this, but everybody keep Tim Allen's daughters in your prayers tonight. Tim Allen is a fantastic member of the community. I don't know if you guys just saw that in the chat, but nope. And touch base with him in the Discord and keep him company through this time if you guys are in the Discord. I wish I could share the link, but my computer is down. So, sorry, go on, Daniel.
No, it's all good. No, absolutely. Tim Allen mentioned that in the Discord earlier, and it's been on my mind ever since. So it will be on my mind until surgery is over and we know that everything's good. And Hedge, I'd only allow you to join the stream if you can behave yourself.
Oh no.
But anyways,
When did the
yeah.
Hedge ask to join the stream?
He called foul on a host being a guest.
I mean, we could. I don't want to.
Yeah, he's got to behave.
I don't want.
I make the rules.
When the fuck did that happen? Richard's been gone for a week, and everybody's been like, "I got big dick energy." It's like, calm down, guys. It's just a show.
I'm the only one that's fully functional right now, and I'm drinking.
I mean, admittedly, this is what I use. This is the system I used to be fully functional on. Oh god! Does ragging on Royce count as behaving? No, it does not.
You heard him.
Oh, God.
It's a type of
Yeah,
behavior,
but
suppose.
I believe
I-
now that I'm thinking
so-
more about it, Michael Harris is correct. It might be Andy Liu that I was
Okay,
thinking
cool.
of.
So I need to
Yeah,
go.
it is, because I was thinking when I said Andy Kwok, I was actually thinking Aaron Kwok, who was an actor that I really enjoyed in the Storm Riders. That was what I was thinking of. Got the two names mixed up.
I need to go and sit down and spend some, because one of the things that I love doing is when I read the comics, especially those that are inspired by anime, I just inadvertently hear the voices of different actors in my head. Because if you guys have watched modern anime, there's like 10 voice actors in anime in America, period. Like there's like 10, they don't hire outside of those 10. Like very rarely do I watch an anime and I go, "Oh, I don't know that voice." Like I was watching the one that you recommended, Kenichi. Damn near knew every one of those actors. One of them's All Might. I mean, All Might's in freaking everything, obviously, because that's he's also Vegeta, Piccolo.
A great voice actor can
Why-
make it
why-
so you don't realize it's them at first.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's true.
well, but when they're cast so much, yes, I hear voices in my head. Royce Wigman, June 20. Yes, I do hear voices in my head, and
I do too.
I don't know why that's weird. I also talk out loud to myself and argue with myself. Is that also weird?
Nah,
A little bit.
if it is, I'm a little weird too, because I do that sometimes.
It's all the voices in my head.
So one of the things I do is like there are some days just driving home from work, you just turn the radio off and just sit there and I work through my thoughts out loud. And like, dude, I tell everybody like that's why there's cracks in my windshield, because I just shout at my windshield for, like a half hour on the drive home every day. And one of my wife's friends from when she was a kid was here, and he visiting and checking out the new house, and he's actually a psychologist, like a licensed psychologist, has his own practice and all that. I was like, "Hey, a question for you." He's like, "Yeah, what's up?" I was like, "So I've been told this is a weird thing, but I'm like, for me, it gets it out. I get my thoughts out there, and it helps me organize them. It helps me work through them. Like I'll just shout at my windshield on the drive, like I mean, full on, and then like I'll like ask me stupid questions and I'll answer. And if I don't get the answer back, I'll shout the question again, and then I'll like just work through that process." And he looks at me and goes, "Honestly, I wish more people would do that." And I was like, "Oh no, this isn't good." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because most people don't give themselves the time of day to do that." And I was like, "Oh, that's
Fair.
sad." I was like, that's sad. Most people don't give themselves the time of day to work through their own thoughts.
Yep.
Like that's not good.
Very sad.
Not to derail the tangent, but have you guys already gone into the details of the page count of issue number 2 and all of the tiers and everything?
No, it's the same page count as number one. All of the
Okay.
books are going to be 32 pages long. I've always enjoyed standard comic books. Not a huge graphic novel guy unless I'm getting the whole compendium of a story that I couldn't get in issues. So
Gotcha. Okay.
doing it in 32 pages.
And the first book is
Gabriel.
very Okay.
Lieutenant Bob says, so Gabriel will be voiced by Ben Stein. Got it. Oh my God.
Potentially.
Oh my God.
Well, in terms of the dialogue and stuff, the first comic, it doesn't have tons and tons of dialogue in it. There's a little bit of story development, but the story is mostly told through the action and the combat that's going on, which I know that is kind of a theme in your books, that the fights themselves or the characters and their dynamics kind of working that out. Is book 2 going to lean more into the dialogue, or is it going to be kind of an equal amount of action and dialogue, or how's that balance out?
There is more dialogue in issue number 2, specifically because the scenes require it. And because I'm following book 1's story arc, I'm essentially doing a comic book for every 2 chapters of the book. So in the first 2 chapters, there's less dialogue because Gabriel's not engaged. He's still operating under what he considers, factory settings. But Hannah kind of drags it out of him. So they have a conversation in his apartment over a meal, as meager as it is. And then, there is a semi-confrontation between Gabriel and Michael as well that happens towards the end. So there is a lot more dialogue than in issue number 1, but it's still maintaining that I'm trying to tell the story through visuals more than that. The entire sequence of Gabriel thinking about his training under Genbu is dominated by physicality. I think Genbu says maybe 4 total words to him through the whole memory sequence, and 3 of them are the word again.
Right. Dude. So, okay, because I have to ask. Because we have to get into power scaling. And I know there's not like technical power. Well, at least that I've seen. It's more skills, right? But we call it power scaling.
There's power involved.
Yeah. But where does Gabriel start on the power scale? Because reading what I've read, he definitely comes in as a threat. Like he's definitely high level threat already. Yes. So he is one of those guys who we're entering this story with him already being a badass. And that's one of those stories that I feel like some people can do right, and some people they're either just OP from the beginning, and like the way to kind of temper that down is like, oh, we have to put like he has to protect other people in order to, he has to focus on other things. He has to. So how are you balancing that? Like, is he OP? Because I mean, I don't know where the rest of the story is going. Is he OP?
This response is going to have some spoilers in it, just so people know.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Okay. Spoilers. How long, like in terms of years, how long do you think it would take someone to be considered a master of what they do?
So in terms of years, I have always been told that it takes 10,000 hours to be considered a master of something. So considering that most people in a 40-hour work week work 2,000 hours a year, now assuming that's just a 40-hour work week, 2,000 hours a year, that's 5 years to be considered a master at the craft, obviously. And then you go beyond that, you go 20,000 hours, 30,000 hours. And there are people who talk about this in the art world. But yes, there, and actually if I'm not mistaken, there was some companies out there that were looking at years worth of work, and they were actually giving basically looking at those people as if they had master's degrees in those fields, whether they had the degrees or not, because they had 10,000 to 15,000 to 20,000 hours of time worked and learned in that field. So for me, I would say anywhere from 5 to 10 years to become a master in something.
Yeah. Real quick before I continue, DCC, this is specifically spoilers about Gabriel's skills and powers. I'm not going to spoil too much as far as story is concerned. So in response to what Royce just said, the memory sequence in 2 illustrates that Gabriel was recruited to Suzakushin Corporation, and specifically Genbu's Division 8, at the age of 6. So he trained for 12 years doing nothing but martial arts.
Ooh, I was close. I was fucking close.
I was way
So
off.
yes, 12 years of nothing but combat training.
Yeah. So he's halfway to Grandmaster then, because there's like Master and then there's like a big gap between. I think like,
and he's the reason for that, which is a minor spoiler as far as the story is concerned, is that all of the members of the Holy Eight, the great killers of Division 8, which is Suzakushin's security force, all of them had at the time of their training and upbringing cybernetic enhancements of some kind. Some of them are supportive, some of them are absolutely physical, and depending on the circumstance, it was for certain things, with the exception of one of the archangels, and I'm not going to say which one because that's a teaser reveal. It's kind of interesting, but all of them were all of them were given mechanical upgrades of some kind because Suzakushin wanted to develop a capability that they could then sell to the public in order to cement themselves as the dominant corporation in this Neo Tokyo. That was their whole purpose. And Genbu created an army of powerful soldiers out of doing this, but the ultimate goal was just to perfect cybernetics. Now, Gabriel, you will find out as you read through most of the story in book 1 and in book 2, that Gabriel has the next step, which is the reason for the name. His enhancement is nanotech based. He's not cybernetic. He's got a nanotechnology colony that resides inside of his body and a surgically
that first
implanted
scene
control
when you realize
node
that's what's
in
happening
his brain.
I was like, whoa, that's a great
So
freaking scene.
This story takes place in Tokyo, correct?
Yes, in the future.
And how far into the future are we talking, or is it like 20x? Like the Mega Man
I
angle?
believe 2337 was the year that I set for the
okay.
start date.
So it's really in the future. Gotcha.
Yeah, a couple hundred
Okay,
years.
cool.
In my setting, there was a big confrontation in the eastern side of the world where North Korea made a gambit allying itself with the Communist Chinese Party and tried to subsume the entirety of the eastern region of the world. And part of the way they did that was through the insidious infiltration of corporations in Japan in order to seed themselves so that they could take it over. Tokyo itself in the story walled off during the war and tried to save itself, ended up turning itself somewhat into a really high tech, but not socioeconomically concerned megacity. So those in the corporate buildings, those involved in the companies that effectively run everything, even though there is a government, it's basically a puppet. they live in a highly advanced society. Everybody on the ground is broken. Most of them hide in virtual reality games because, they're more pretty than the world that they all live in. In book 2, there's a character that really contrasts that. He almost lost his job because he became addicted to NG3, the predominant virtual world game. And when he gets outside of Neo Tokyo to go on his adventure, he's amazed that everything outside of it is more beautiful than the virtual reality that he was escaping in when he was stuck inside the city. And that contrast was specifically written to show the common man's lifestyle in this world. Yes, Guilty Gearhead, that's correct. Adachi. He's kind of a hard-nosed detective sort, but he was so downtrodden that, like an addict with drugs, he was just wasting all of his time in this virtual game and kept showing up late and almost lost his job. He had to give it up, and so he had to force himself to stay in the place that he hated to be. And then he goes on this personal mission and gets outside of the city and realizes that there's a whole world out there.
Okay, so we're
that
talking
nobody knows about anymore.
Kind of like a
that's pretty cool.
dystopian, very pretty
Mhm.
far in the distant future Japan. We have cybernetically enhanced soldiers, super soldiers with most of them. What kind of weaponry are they using? Is it like machine guns and stuff, or
Lethal ordnance was banned by the government, but it was it was just part of the technology boom ploy that the corporations wanted to set up. They wanted to take the ability to defend yourself away from the people. So lethal weapons were banned. It was all sort of rounded up. And even the police force uses non-lethal stuff, rubber bullets, sonic weapons that are designed by one of the corporations. And the corporations themselves started creating their own combat divisions to take each other out. That's what the Holy Eight are. They're Suzakushin's assassination squad. They go out and murder the other corporate executives to screw up their plans so that their company can profit off of it. It was my take on the old concept of low war in Japan, which is part of the mystery legend of the ninja. It was war in shadows, where fighting did not happen openly in the street. It happened behind closed doors, in darkened alleys, and a lot of the time brothels. But I was playing with the concept, and my thought of what if I made a futuristic low war out of these corporations vying for control of this walled off city, and was like, that sounds really awesome. So became part of the setting.
So you're telling me that at some point in history there was sword fights at brothels?
Yeah.
I mean,
Very much
most
so.
likely, yeah.
Mhm.
It was just a bad joke. That's all I was going for.
No, but that legitimately could have happened.
The conversion therapy failed.
Oh God, what the fuck?
So in terms of
Think about it, Roy.
I know. Yep,
Don't
I'm
think
there.
about it.
I'm there. I got fuck. Jeez.
fighting up high and fighting down low. So in terms of
God,
whenever
fuck. That joke has so many fucking layers. That's not even.
It does. That was a good one.
Oh
Yes.
wow.
Female shinobi.
Oh.
we're
The
painting a
conversion-
picture here. We're getting, oh, sorry.
The conversion therapy failed at a brothel, so sword fights ensued. That's just
Mhm.
yep.
That's what happens.
Yep.
That's how it happens.
It's all Justin's fault.
We've all been there. So we're getting a little bit of an idea.
Whoa! No! Whoa! Whoa!
Right, guys?
Flag on the play.
Go team. So we're getting a picture painted of what exactly this story's like. Now, in terms of like the tone and the style of it, what would you compare it to? Is there another property that maybe is more broadly known or appreciated that it's similar to. If you're trying to draw somebody in, you're like, okay, like for my music, I have to go with, okay, it's, I don't know, it's sort of like, I guess people know Metallica, so we'll start there because that's all they have. Not that it's really like that, but is there something that's kind of like a cultural touchstone that captures that vibe or essence that isn't wildly esoteric?
No, it's if there was anything setting wise that I would compare it to, it would be the original Ghost in the Shell. That type of futuristic cityscape of very high towers and a obvious physical level between the normal people and the elites. You know, they're all up here in the higher parts of these super sized buildings, and everybody else is down here on the ground. And there's an obvious difference between the two because of the classist nature of it. Redoubt Productions, that's interesting. Yeah, the John Wick vibe I've heard.
See, that was where I was wondering, and I wasn't sure.
Was
That
not
was my
intentional. Actually, I had never seen any of the John Wick films while I was writing G Sedai. I didn't actually start watching them until I think like a year ago.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that the ideas. It's not, I guess, a well, to me, it reminded me of that. I had seen John Wick before, and it's the guys in the
Yeah.
suits, and they're these highly trained assassins. It's not one to one, obviously, because they're all fighting with guns and things of that nature. And I would say G Sedai. Is it fair to say it has more of a like an actiony anime vibe, where you get some serious moments, but there are moments of levity, or is it serious all throughout?
Michael Harris, yes. And to answer your question, I'm not sure how to answer it actually.
Because as
My
I'm reading it,
intention,
oh, go, sorry,
my
go ahead.
intention for the story was not to make a literary manga or anime. My intention for the story was just to tell this cool idea. It just, I guess, my style of writing lended itself to forcing the imagination into seeing it like a manga or anime. And most of that is because of all the research I did. I wanted to be more accurate than most of what we get in the West of these forms of combat, but also make it fantastical because those are fun. And I'm a big Wuxia nut, so I love the high flying special effects that are done in those sorts of stories and in the movies. Running up the side of trees and things like that always amazed me, and I thought it would be fun to try and blend that into a slightly more realistic, or at least plausible to someone who likes sci-fi, using cybernetics and science as the basis for their ability to do so, setting them apart from regular people, as you saw with the fight between Gabriel and Curio, who is not cybernetically enhanced but was still damn skilled. He held his own. It was obvious he was outmatched from the get-go, but he held his own against Gabriel. And
Right.
that was important to me to set up that while Gabriel has been doing this to a point where he's effectively an 18-year-old master of the sword, his nanotech is really the reason why he survived that fight.
Gotcha. I mean, I would say, in terms of what we were just talking about, it definitely reminds me of John Wick a little bit in terms of the style and all that. But as I was reading, because I read the books too before I got the comic, and as I was reading the books, I was picturing it like an anime. It felt like an anime to me, where the combat was that high action. I mean, the fights in this, whenever they go up, fight each other one to one, it reminds me, it's almost like, Elden Ring just came out. It has that kind of vibe where it's like boss fights are very serious. You're not sure which way it's going to go. And both guys, they're going to get hurt at least a little bit.
Mhm.
It's not just going in and Superman and just beating the bad guy. It's very intense.
Right.
And there are some
Yep.
smaller battles along the way, but it's about those boss battles and those standoffs. And as we talked about earlier, the way the relations between the characters kind of play out, it's a lot of times captured in the fight itself. And,
Yes.
and the reason I was asking about it are the weaponry, is it machine guns and things like that, is because with these boss fights, it's generally not. It's usually these really cool weapons that I can't even remember the names of at this point. But it's not all sword fights or that sort of
Yeah.
thing. It's sword
Being
versus.
being inspired by Kurosawa to come up with the idea to begin with, and wanting to tell a story through physicality and combat, every one of those boss fights that you talk about is another test of Gabriel's dedication to what he believes is his right path, which is the code of the samurai. It's the only thing that he had other than combat training. So seeing Hannah needing help and her being defenseless, that struck on multiple points of the code, which I do describe in the book. And at that point, he felt like he was obligated to save her. And then afterwards, he didn't know what to do with her. And then she was under threat again. So it was just, well, I have to continue to protect this girl because she can't do it herself. And I have a duty. And
That is
now I have to fight my own company, and the only thing I have is this girl, and every time I do something with her, I feel something different, and I don't know what it is, so I'm going to keep doing it and try to understand myself through the process.
And that's an interesting one of the interesting tropes that you went with, because I think one of the last times I saw that trope, oh no, the movie's name is escaping me.
Which trope?
The trope of essentially an assassin coming across a pseudo child of theirs.
Leon the Professional.
Was it The Professional?
Mm-hmm. I
Or
noticed
no, it was The
that
Cleaner.
the
The Cleaner.
The Cleaner is another one. Yeah,
The Cleaner. The Cleaner was really, really good. Again, this young, like, this assassin,
Man on Fire,
a young girl. Yeah, I mean, great freaking movie. It was really, really like good. And
yeah, the trope of the isolated warrior and him finding more from interaction with someone.
Yeah, becoming a surrogate father, essentially, because they've never known human connection, because their whole point of life is the antithesis of human connection. It is to kill. It is to get rid of, to dispatch, to make sure that person that is in front of me is no longer in front of me and is dead in the ditch. And it's a really interesting trope to kind of go with. And it's not one that a lot of people go with. I have not.
It's very difficult to pull off. I realized that while I was writing it. And some of the scenes that ended up being very powerful to the readers of the book. Justin might be able to attest to this. I wrote and actually looked at and went, I think this is more funny than serious. Perfect example in issue number 2 for the Weebs. There is a scene where Hannah
don't fucking give anything to the Weebs. Why would you even mention them here? Why?
Just so they know.
Stop it.
Anyways.
No, don't even
Feed the Weebs.
Don't feed the Weebs. Shut up.
So because Hannah was sex trafficked, her idea of how to interact with people is also kind of flawed at this point. She has lots of hope, but she's not sure what to do with this guy who's older, and he doesn't want to talk to her, but he saved her life, and she feels safe in his presence. And a little bit of that was slightly influenced by the TV show Bones. There was after writing out the synopsis of how they were going to interact, I was reading it over and suddenly got reminded of the one episode of Bones with the dog fighting ring, and the dog that they were taking care of, Temperance, gets very attached to it, and Sealy Booth's like, it killed someone, you can't keep it. And she's like, I like him, he kind of reminds me of you. He's gentle and sweet, but capable of great violence.
It's, dude, my wife is actually rewatching that series right now. She like once a year she goes back and she rewatches the whole thing. And that's a great analogy though, is because there are guys like that. Like I think every person that I've seen on a podcast who's like a special forces guy who could end you in 17 different ways while drunk and not thinking, which doesn't account to the other ways that he could end you. But they're total teddy bears. They're teddy bears until you cross them. And once you cross them, you are no longer worth, the time in their day, and they just get rid of you. And that's got to be a hard thing to write too.
Yeah, it's like the meme with the kid's toy telephone. It says you could be the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the world, but if a child hands you a toy telephone, you hold it up to your ear and say hello.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a guy thing that I really wanted to try and capture with this young man who wasn't raised with any of that, but it's instinctual in him. And there's a point for the weebs where Hannah shush.
No,
let me finish my fucking sentence, Roy.
I would just stop talking to the weebs. We don't need them here. They smell. It's weird.
Because Gabriel doesn't know what to do with Hannah.
It smells like Theo and Axe body spray.
And he knows that he's not supposed to have people in his home. He's not supposed to interact with people. He has a job. He says that she can stay for the night, but after that she has to go because he'll get in trouble for having her there. It was a very innocent young man response to this. He's trying to abide by the rules set forth by the company, but also facilitate this instinctual need to do right by her. She gets very upset, and then she essentially throws herself at him because of the way she's had to endure for the last few years. She thinks, okay, well, last ditch effort, I'll offer him sex. And she's like, you can have me. And she starts taking off the raincoat, and Gabriel just goes, no, just hand up very flatly. No, shuts that shit down. And I thought that was a little too funny when I wrote it. I was like, this might take away from the scene, but everyone that I talked to about it said it was completely on point, and it actually worked really well. So I was kind of proud of that.
And that
trying to blend seriousness and heart was really difficult.
Result really quickly. Ultimate Kahuna sent in a private dono for $3. Thank you so much.
Nice.
We're going to see Ultimate Kahuna here in less than a month. The Iron Age barbecue. Dude, did you guys see the pictures of the barbecue? I want to say Evely. It's Justin.
It's either one. It's fine. Some
Big
people call it Chris.
Dude,
fine.
I've used your superhero name for so long.
Some people call him the Space Cowboy. I used to work at a place, and we had name tags, and my name tag said Justin, and all the people I worked with called me Jason. I was like, well, that's odd. Then we hired a kid named Jason, and they started calling him Justin. And to this day, I still don't know if they were just messing with us, or if it's just people can't read, or
because my brain is my brain, and I'm connecting that stupid ass joke that Daniel just made, and now I'm just like, some called me the Jason of love. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
I was going to say that dynamic at the core of the story, the relationship between Hannah and Gabriel, it's interesting because I expected it. Well, I can't. How can I say it's like being spoiled? It's interesting the way it develops.
Okay, I don't mind if other people spoil. Go for it.
It's more complex, I guess, than I would have initially thought, and even the way it plays out, I'm like, oh, wait, no, that makes sense. It was the kind of thing where I'm like, no, based on the characters and where they're coming from, a lot of the interactions, it didn't click for me at first because I didn't come from that crazy traumatic background. But then you think about the characters, you're like, no, that makes a ton of sense.
Justin.
Uh-oh.
It's kind of my fault because we were joking, but I was reading an Ultimate Kahuna private donation message.
Yes, let's hear what the Kahuna has to say.
Sorry. That was my bad.
It's either about sunning his balls or being naked in the shower.
Thank God it's not about either. Holy fuck. Daniel, what informed you about the details of both Hannah and a certain male counterpart in their lives in the criminal element at such a young age?
I assume he's talking about book 2. It's going to be hard not to spoil with this answer. So Hannah's development in the broader part of the story, she goes from victim to assertion, which is what most people do after they recover. They want to take control of their lives. And she starts to emulate Gabriel because he's now her role model as her protector. And then she comes across this other character at one point in the story in book 2, which comic wise, that's going to be a while before that happens. But it's, for his part, it's that girl moment. Some people have experienced it where you see someone doing something in such a natural way that you're just like, wow, I need to know her. For her eyes were solely focused on Gabriel because she develops that what's the word? The Stockholm syndrome kind of thing with her protector. Yeah, over the course of book 1, and it carries over into 2. It's like white knight syndrome or something like that, where she becomes
Stockholm syndrome is you're taking care of the patient, but this one is the person taking care of you. It's the reverse of Stockholm syndrome. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, just in reverse.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that she develops amorous intentions towards Gabriel, which he's not interested in, and she harbors those feelings. Okay, so interesting point that a lot of people miss. Hannah herself is not technically a child, and the way I say that is a difficult subject for people most of the time. Hannah, I don't come out and say her age in the books ever, but she's only a couple of years younger than Gabriel is. She's small physically, so she was dressed up by the madam of the brothel in Lolita in order to play to the pedophilic clientele. So she's portrayed throughout the story as being very young. Florence Nightingale is the one with your caretaker. That's correct. Bats. Thank you. Yeah.
Why did we not get Florence Nightingale? Why do people not? Is that
I wasn't even really thinking about it, but I knew it was there somewhere in my head. So she's not actually a child, but she is immature because most of her life was spent in that room, and forced mature sexually because of being sex trafficked. So she has the hopeful mindset of someone much younger, but physically she is not. She's just tiny genetically, which is a thing. I mean, if you look at a lot of Asian women, the hilarious trope is Asian women look like children until they're in their 20s, then they look like supermodels until they hit 60, and then all of a sudden they turn into short frumpy grandmas. It's just like snap, it happens on a moment. That's the trope. But that was kind of the play there. I didn't specifically reveal her age to the public until just now because the question was asked, but she's not that much younger than Gabriel is, just a couple of years off.
Obviously, between the themes of the book and some of the things that take place, and obviously the action can be incredibly violent at times, this isn't a book for younger audiences per se.
I think these days, most, say 10 and up, have seen more graphic violence than what's in my comic book.
Okay, let me rephrase that then. I guess
Demon
maybe
Slayer?
check it out yourself first,
Yeah.
because there's nothing too gratuitous in terms of what's dealt with Hannah. It's a lot of or Hana, a lot of things that are implied and insinuated without being too heavy-handed. The violence, on the other hand, is shown in pretty good detail. So it's one of those things. Maybe if you have a younger person that'd be interested, check it out yourself first, and then
Yeah.
go from there.
Absolutely. Always check things out before you expose your kids to them. But everything that I write tries to avoid the fully explicit as much as I possibly can. Unfortunately, like in Legacy of Heroes, I think there may have been one or two actual fully said cuss words in Legacy of Heroes because I was trying to avoid that as much as possible, under the assumption that people were going to look at the cover and go, oh, superhero, so it's got to be clean. But the story I told was not a superhero story. And then I wrote the short stories aftermath of Comedy's Tragedy and Tragedy's Comedy. And because of Tragedy, the character, the villain, he is really fucked up. Like, as a person, he's every horrible part of the Dark Triad. Writing that short story, I couldn't avoid it, and it's extremely graphic. I actually did put a warning in the beginning of it when I posted it on my website way back, because the things that happen to him and the things that he does are very graphic and very disturbing. But as far as G-Style is concerned, I try to avoid too much explicit language. I definitely don't go into the gory details of what's happening, even in book 2, when that character that Kahuna referenced goes back to the gang club and there's a whole sex party going on in the back room. He thinks about it, but he thinks about it in such a derisive way. Like, he finds it so unappealing now that I was able to describe gently so that it was in the reader's mind, but not go into any great detail of what was actually happening. And I was pretty proud of myself for doing that, because I wasn't sure how I was going to pull that off when I first storyboarded it.
I mean, it's
like, how do you walk through an orgy and not mention what's
requires
in your face?
Some keyboard finesse, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Now with this,
I mean, honestly, I've met people who have lived that life. My wife actually being one of them, and it's like there are sometimes she's like, "Yeah, no, I've told you this story before." I'm like, "No, you haven't." She's like, "Oh," and to her it was nothing, because to her back in the day when she was a teenager, that was just a normal Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's what he goes through. He has describing the scene through his observation of it, coming from the position of someone who got into it in the beginning, but then realized just how pointless it all was at this point. And his mind is on bigger and better things. And especially now that he's essentially met the girl of his dreams in his mind, it all seems so pointless. So I was able to describe what was going on in a way that didn't come right out and say anything about, the acts themselves.
Right.
That's one of the best ways to broach that topic.
Yep.
And I was going to say the characters in the story, the dynamic between Hana and Gabriel, obviously the world, from everything you're hearing be described here, it's not a nice place. There's some bad things going on with
a lot
with the characters and in the world at large. But despite that, this is a story that I would say there is a thread of hope that kind of goes through all of it. And you get these injections at certain points, which I thought that kept me invested. That there's characters, there's story beats and things like that, where you do have that hope. It's not just dark and brutal and this is the world and whatever.
Yeah, a lot of it comes from Hannah and the guinea pig, who in issue number 2 gets its name, and its name is Heaven. And there's a story behind that too. To dovetail back to one of Justin's early questions, Hannah's physicalities and some of her behaviors I modeled off of my daughter, because at that time she had just passed through that age bracket. So I was able to, I'm not a girl. It's difficult for me to think like a girl. So instead I modeled after the closest age relevant girl that I had in my area, which was my daughter. And the guinea pig originally
Daniel's sitting there writing this. Daniel's sitting there right. Hey kiddo. What, Dad? How would you respond to this situation?
No, I did not ask her.
I know, but it's funny. Can I just be funny, please?
It would have just. It probably would have been a little bit funny, but I was concerned about asking her because part of me didn't want to know, but I already sort of knew.
And the interesting thing is that because no matter how well you know a person, they are, the way that you would write them down on paper is just an amalgamation of your experiences with them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like because people are complicated beings and they feel things in a way that no other person can experience. And so honestly, it's probably a good thing that you didn't ask her, because you were like, oh, I experience and know that my daughter is this way, and I am going to write down an amalgamation of what I feel, which then puts kind of part of you into Hannah's. So yes, although inspired by your daughter, but because of how complicated people are, you're more like you're writing a totally new character with you and this amalgamation of this person that you know, which is kind of cool.
So, yeah. And I'm a people watcher by nature, which a lot of you will realize at the barbecue. You'll catch me just sort of staring at you.
Feed him whiskey. Feed him whiskey.
Yeah. But it's because I mentally record physicalities, because I find that interesting. You express a lot more in your small tics than you do in the things that you say about the type of person you are. And I've always been an action speak louder than words guy. So I watch people very closely.
You were going to drunkenly fight.
Oh, most likely.
But I don't want you on the podcast no more.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, maybe, but we'll be drunk at the time. We don't know what we're saying.
I want to tell the guinea pig story real quick, though, because it's kind of sad, but also really cool. So originally I was trying to come up with this animal MacGuffin for Hannah's escape from the brothel. And my first instinct was naturally to go with a cat, because it's a more common animal. And then I was playing with the concept of potentially making it something hidden away, a greater power, and part of the whole reason that the two characters come together. And then about a month into writing, my daughter's guinea pig passed away. And she was devastated. Absolutely devastated. She had the critter from shortly after birth all the way to its death, and it was her whole world, and she was so hurt when it died.
Jeez.
So it was kind of fate. The cat turned into a furry little guinea pig in my story.
Wow.
Because I wanted her to be able to look back at these books and think about her favorite pet.
Gee, that's heavy, dude.
Yeah, that definitely adds to some of the scenes.
And that's it's funny because that was the guinea pig's nickname. She named it Heaven, which is the name of the guinea pig in the book, in the comic. And my nickname for it, because it got so plump, was Heavy.
That's freaking cool, dude. Oh, that's freaking awesome. Why won't you back out? That's something.
So
Something is
obviously,
wrong.
the point. I mean, we want to teach people and show people, your different line of G Sedai options they got here. We got books. There's the comic. Obviously, comic issue 2 is what we're trying to raise money for, and all that good stuff. I
Thank you,
encourage
Tim.
you to read the books for sure before you read the comic. But where do you stand on that? Do you want people to read the books first? Do you want to read G Sedai 1, then get the comic, or do both books, or avoid the books, or just
The whole idea of doing the comic was because everybody that read it and reviewed it said that it read like this really incredible manga, and I thought, what the heck, we'll attack a whole nother market with the story. And thinking about it, honestly, it doesn't matter how you enjoy the story. I just want you to enjoy the story. So I'm putting it out in multiple formats. It's now on Audible as well. G Sedai 1 is available on Audible. I had
awesome.
a narrator who goes by Son of Sonnet work on it for me. He did a fantastic job. We had a rap session, tried to go over what the different and they may not be perfect to what I thought they sounded like, but he did a great job with them. He has a wonderful voice for narration, and he's highly skilled and very professional at it. He was also very reasonable with his rate, so we had a great time working on it. And that's why I'm doing the anime side of it too, because my thought is I go at this from every direction, and people who don't want to read can experience it through the audiobook and hopefully eventually the anime or animated series. People who like comic books can experience the story through the comic book medium. People who like to kick back and read for hours in their, seat of power can do it through the novels. To me, it doesn't matter how you enjoy it as long as you get to enjoy it.
That makes a lot of sense. I think that's the smart approach. I love that it's on audiobook too now, because there's so many books. My TBR is insane. And, I'm a slow reader to begin with. And so I'm slowly working my way through these books. But in the meantime, I've been listening to Shad's book, which it's pretty long, but it's an audiobook. So I throw it on when I'm mowing the lawn or doing this or that. And, before you know it, I'm 20 hours into the thing. So the fact that your book is now available on audiobook is great. And I can't imagine the first book is coming in, right under 150 pages, somewhere around there, 140. So about how many hours is the audiobook? 4? That's awesome. So that's
4 hours.
Yeah, jump in and get the story. That's
great.
great.
It is literally a day's worth of work for me when I'm driving.
Yeah.
In fact, I drive more than that.
All the more reason, jump in, get yourself a copy of the audiobook, and get yourself some, high level, not samurai, but high level Japanese futuristic cybernetically enhanced sword fight in action. And it's got some heart to it and a little bit of hope. And there's a couple
Japanese cyberpunk is what you're looking for.
Yes, cyberpunk. Real quick, Seabat's hilarious comment. My next project is G Sedai the Candles. Just made me think of Spaceballs with yogurt and the merch shop. G Sedai the Flamethrower.
Oh God.
Dude,
The kids are gonna love this.
If there's an energy drink or something, I'd try it.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Actually, in terms of merch like that, is that something you obviously you're attacking the story itself from all these different angles? You got the comic, you want to do the anime, you have the books, now you have the audiobook. Do you have aspirations to do kind of like what they did with the Iroh, with the model and all that sort of thing? And
those are
you have the t-shirts.
the model's very expensive. I have t-shirts, mugs, stickers and stuff. I don't advertise it all very often, but on my link tree there's a link to my Teespring store. I had a really fantastic artist.
Have you thought of merchandising blow-up dolls?
Yeah, there you go.
Market. Sorry.
No. merchandise.
It's all merchandise is good merchandise.
But both of the comic campaigns have had t-shirts that are exclusive to what's going on with the comic book. So, I do merch a little bit when I can. It's not a priority because I'm a writer by nature. So I'm going to be targeting some more marketing in the near future, stepping back from working on so many writing projects and focusing some more of my time on solidifying my sales capabilities. But I think merchandise is always going to take a backseat to just the entertainment itself.
Gotcha.
I like
actually understand that.
and being goofy with it. I'm absolutely buying myself the guinea pig popcorn t-shirt that I have up on the campaign, so you'll see that on the show.
That's a thing, a guinea pig plushie.
Yeah, my daughter and I have talked about doing heaven plushies, especially because one of the things that my artist and I talked about is after the first book arc finishes in the comics and we do the graphic novel compendium, so there's going to be all the comics in one big volume after I complete book 6. We're also going to do a little Adventures of Heaven kind of ash can comic book that'll be in the back of the graphic novel.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so book number 1, 140 pages, 4-hour audiobook, and you're looking at 6 comics to cover book 1. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
That's
and
not
then
bad.
As the train
Nope.
keeps heading down the track, book 2 is also going to be 6 comics?
I'm going to try, yes, but who knows? Book 2 is substantially longer than book 1.
Yeah, I was going to say book 2 clocks in at not 140 pages, but it's what?
200 something, I think.
Yeah, almost 300.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and that's because book 1, the narrative was tightly focused on Gabriel and Hannah, because that's all that was really happening to those characters. Their world was so condensed that it only was concerned with what was going on currently around them. Book 2, the reader gets to dive into the broader world with the characters because they're now looking farther beyond themselves.
Yeah,
it's
sort
of a natural progression.
For this being 140 pages, there's a lot packed into that 140 pages in terms of action and characters and what goes on. It moves quickly because, it's not a super long book, but there's a lot there. And like you were saying, book 2, it opens up a little bit further. So again, 140 pages, 4-hour audiobook read. If you're even curious a little bit, that's such an easy point to jump in. Or self-comic. Back up the support. We're on the road to 1,000 subs here, but we're at least on the road to 1,000 for DPR as well, and his Fund My Comic as well. Obviously, we'd like to see it go a lot higher than that, but
Yeah, I'm hoping. At the bottom of the campaign, I have 3 stretch goals, and the first one, just like with the first campaign, is a 10% off code for backers when campaign number 3 starts. And I sent that email out, but most of you forget that you have that 10% off.
Totally forgot until you mentioned it. Oh yeah, whoops.
I know one person used it so far out of the 7 that have backed it in the week and a half it's been up. But that was a promotional idea that we talked about here on IAK, and I wanted to push that. So if we can get the campaign to hit $1,000, its actual funding goal is only 500 to get me just enough to get started on the next comic while the storefront's up. And what I do is I just put proceeds from these projects back into them. So anytime anybody buys a GSI product of any kind, it goes into the coffer for more GSI stuff. So 1,000, the 10% off code for issue number 3 comes into play for issue number 3's campaign. 20,000, I think I offered a complimentary sticker pack of characters and, the guinea pig that I've already got set up. And then anything over the 2,000 mark stretch goal, it goes directly into the animation fund.
That's awesome.
Because anything over 2000 I don't need for comic book production, so it becomes gravy that goes into the animation fund.
Well, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see that happen. Hopefully you guys feel the same way. So if you're interested, you got the funds. Get
Yep.
those numbers up.
And multiple ways to generate it now with the audiobook, the books, and the comic books. That's kind of my goal, to go with everything that I write. I have this semi-spoiler. I've talked about it a little bit with everybody, but in October, save yourself about $20 because I have another project that'll be starting, and that's going to be a yearly release series for at least the next 5 years.
No, cool.
And that is centered around Halloween because it's a modern retelling twist on classic monster movie characters. And there's an overarching story that they all end up realizing that they're all stuck in, but each individual book, sort of like the original Marvel movies, is centered around one character, one type of classic monster, and there's just details that tie them all together until you get to the end. The first book is called Era of the Dragon. It's a vampire story, so it's an interesting twist on Dracula. Actually has to do with that one mysterious bride that nobody is really sure what happened to her in the Dracula myth. She survived, and she becomes, basically, she does the Dracula thing to a group of college boys. I think that's Christian's goal in life, is to have everything have a large Hawaiian man in it named Kahuna.
I mean, it
It's
makes
not a bad
sense.
goal.
It's
Make
like
the world a better place.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't read book 2, there is a certain member of our community featured in that book.
Yes.
In a very special way, because it was really difficult to figure out how to pull it off.
It's well done. I was reading it and I'm like, hang on. No. Yes. Oh man. Yeah. It's a really funny scene. That was really awesome that you included that in there.
I had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, I love when
especially the punchline to the scene.
I need to apparently read book 2. I'm on that trend.
Yeah. It's really good. Wait, so in terms of your Halloween stories that you're talking about, did I miss? Did you say what you're going to be calling those, or is the name still kind of up in the air?
The series itself is called Modern Day Horrors.
Modern Day Horrors. Horror.
Yes, and the first book is called Heir of the Dragon. Because Dracula's whole moniker was based around the legend of the dragon in that part of the world.
Gotcha. And are these stories meant to be more fun, or are they more serious and intense?
Well, they follow the classic movie plot style, so they are serious stories, but there are a couple of, it's satirical enough where you're just like, this is really funny in a harsh and unfortunate way, because you can follow the parallel between the original myth and what these characters are going through, and because it's based in current day period, there's a lot of parts of things where you can go, interesting. I did it while I was storyboarding it. But the premise is basically that this particular bride of Dracula, that nobody's really sure if she escaped Van Helsing or not, did, and she inadvertently follows in the footsteps of the man that made her, Dracula, by setting herself up to groom 3 young men almost from after their birth into her husbands, the men that are going to be with her for the rest of her unlife. She comes at it from a very feminine standpoint. And one of them, something goes kind of awry, and there's a reason for it, but he ends up, for all intents and purposes, not swayed like the other 2. Yeah. essentially he's not beholden to her, and because he's not beholden to her, he can see her for what she really is and chooses to take the Harker stance and work against her. Yeah. There are quite a lot of moments of that, yes, Kahuna, but that's because it's modern audiences. I had to make characters that were serious and engaging, but also just like any other college boy. So you have the slightly narcissistic, very preppy. Why is Justin so big?
I'm clicking buttons. I have no idea. This is not my normal setup.
Notch in the bedpost, ladies' man boy. You have the stalwart, forthright best friend that's always there to support the narcissist, and then the third man who is a bit more centered than the rest of them, and he's the one that ultimately doesn't end up mesmered by the bride. There's a reason for it that comes out in the course of the story, but I'm not going to spoil it. You have to read it. It's a lot of fun. It plays directly into all of the original vampire tropes. There's no sparkly bullshit. There's no romancing
man,
crap. There's a little bit of the dark Mesmer stuff. There is a scene where he inadvertently uses the mesmer ability on a girl that he knows because he's hungry. So, and I wrote that scene in such a way that he's trying to fight the hunger but also intrigued by it at the same time, so it's kind of chaotic, and he hates it after the fact. Like in the moment it's almost like a drug high, but after he sobers up, he's like, I can't believe I did that. It takes a little part of his soul away. And I wanted that to be a major factor in the transition from human to vampire, that because he's not mesmered, he's experiencing the death of his soul.
Okay, so
in real time.
Okay, interesting. So that's coming out in October.
Yes, that'll be out in October.
And that's Heir of the Dragon.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
And the main overarching story again was called the what now?
Modern Day Horrors.
Modern Day Horrors. And it's Heir of the Dragon. To the Dragon. I'm going to forget this.
I really thought he said Modern Day Horrors for a sec.
Yeah, so did I. Justin's Midwest accent is doing me no favors here. He's like, Modern Day Horrors, Heir of the Dragon.
You got to keep with the times.
Got them, modern day horrors, eh? So we got G Sedai now. We got modern day horrors coming up. G Sedai 2 is in the works in terms of the comic, and G Sedai 3, right? The actual book has got to be also coming down the turnpike.
It'll be coming soon, yes. Yeah, I'm wrapping up the Angel War arc. My plan is to have that out before the turn of the year. So after Heir of the Dragon, G Sedai 3 will be ready for those of you that want to curl up and enjoy it over Christmas.
Awesome. That'd be great.
Yep. And then that closes the Angel War arc out, which means I've got to get into the second arc, because there are 6 arcs in this entire story, 18 total novels, and 6 comic books at least per novel. So we've got a lot of work to do over the next couple of years.
I mean, I'm reading, I've read through G Sedai 1 and 2, and I'm like, okay, I can see the first arc. I can kind of see a second arc, and there's 6. Like, okay, I have no idea where he's going with this. We'll see what
Daniel's writing 4-play game is strong. It's stupid. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Now, another property that you referenced earlier was Legacy of Heroes.
Yes.
And you have a spin-off in the works based off of that, correct?
Yes. That's actually a short story set. Those are more like Bobbsey Twins, Boxcar Children. Yeah, I guess more modern versions would be like the children's cartoons you see nowadays. I'm writing short stories around these 5 young kids that had a small part in Legacy of Heroes and were so beloved by everybody that read it. I'm like, why don't we offer this to them and their children as a nice uplifting set of stories about these 5 precocious children who, you know, run about their neighborhood trying to do good like the superheroes they admire in their own special childlike way. I had my artist for G Sedai draw up a spread of the characters, and they had it was really fun to do because I said to him, what I want is this kind of run down basketball court in a playground at a school, and them just like posing, looking up, and, you know, kind of in anime fashion. And then across the ground, it was just going to say the name of the story series, which is the Crenshaw 5. So, and he did it in chalk. So it looked like they wrote it themselves and then posed for a picture. It was really cute. I have it up on X in my articles.
That's awesome. And that story, that short story collection, when are you aiming to have that out? That's got to be
next year.
Yeah,
I'm taking my time on that one. I want to get a bunch of them written first before I really show them off to the world, because
Daniel
I've got
has no
short
chill.
projects. No, I don't.
0.
Okay. Totally new property that I'll announce here because she brought that up.
There's another.
I am working with my family and a couple of other people on a research project that is turning into a children's illustrated book series that my comic book artist is working with me on, called The Saints Go Marching. And it's basically bite-sized comic strip illustrations and full researched information on the Catholic saints, all of them. So
that's really cool.
Each of these little 32-page children's illustrated storybooks is going to feature at least one saint, their story, how they became saints in the first place, the things that they went through, and then it'll also have a little back section of links for people who want to learn more. So parents that are interested in Catholicism and want to raise their children in Catholicism can introduce these saints to their children in a fun and engaging way.
How did you decide? You said you're doing it out of 30. You're doing it on 32 saints. We're
going to do all of them. There's like 200 and some.
There's 10,000
32
confirmed
pages.
Saints in the Catholic Church.
10,000?
But like there's like a core of 200 that are in this list that we got from the church, essentially. I'm not going to go into the contact on that one, but there were 200 that were recommended out of that giant pile. So our idea for that was, there used to be a cool series of books. What were they called? Oh God, I can't remember now. But they showcased special people of the past and present, like Madame Curie, Thomas Edison, and it was the story of something, like it would be like the story of integrity, and it was about this specific person. I'll have to look it up and get back to you on the actual name of it, but that's what that was inspired by. And we are calling it The Saints Go Marching. The stories are sort of told by a angel, as far as kids are concerned. Like, it starts off with the angel sort of explaining and introducing the saint, and then this is their story, and then it goes into comic strips on each page, so about 5 panels, and each of those 5 panels is then further explained in text that the parents can read to their kids.
That is so fun. I am so excited for that one.
Interactive group learning in a fun way.
These angels are probably not quite biblically accurate, I assume.
I was thinking that. I was not going to say it.
Be less eyes.
No.
Be less
No,
spinning
they're
wheels,
more like the
gyroscoping.
traditional depictions that
I
we're all
gotcha.
accustomed to. Definitely not a whole bunch of eyes and wings flapping all over the
Oh,
place.
sure, yeah. And they did they did come to Earth in human form, so to speak. So that's it attracts. I just like the meme makes me laugh.
That's what
Yeah,
got Sodom
it
and
is.
Gomorrah in
Be
too
not
much trouble.
afraid.
Yeah,
And it's just
exactly.
like shit floating all over the place.
Yeah, I was like, that's
Yeah.
a lot of wings. I had no idea this was out there. This is wild. Like this is pretty metal, actually. Why was this not like pinned up on the walls growing up?
Sea bats for Saint Sebastian just clips Sean Bean from Fellowship. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it. Kevin is also Catholic like I am, so he's contributing perspective and part of the research as well. It's been a lot of fun to do.
I'll take over.
Hopefully we'll get 2 of those out this year, maybe. I definitely have one, and I'm trying to get the second one ready before Christmas because the second one is literally about St. Nicholas. So I thought it would be great to launch that into the Catholic sphere around the Advent. So
Oh, that would do so well, I think. And especially for us parents, it's really nice to find literature that is not just, it's acceptable for your children and family friendly, but they can actually learn something.
yes. And Kevin's doing a chibi art style for the strips, so it's super cute.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
I am excited to
pretty
see
good.
that. So how many things, and sorry if you answered this already when, Royce's face was unfortunately on the screen, but so how many projects are you working on right now? Like, I need a number. I am curious.
Qualify that statement of my projects am I working on right
Your
now? Or
projects.
Yes,
just
yours.
projects in general.
It's at
Okay.
least 5.
It's 8. I'm holding 3 back in the chamber.
You're one of these people that I hang out and I kick around in what used to be the Gilded and the people that are in there. You're one of these people that I'm like, I'm the laziest person on the planet. Like I hear that, I'm just like, geez, I need to up my game. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I got this thing done. I was very productive today. Good job, me. And then I hear this.
This is the exact reason I just bring home hurt baby animals, because it's like my excuse for not writing. Like for 3 or 4 days, Daniel was like my drill sergeant. I asked him to be, and he'd message me and be like, "Hey, what'd you get done today?" And I think it took like the third day. At least I was honest. It was like the third day. I was like, I got 3 pages done. And then I never heard from him again. And then I was feeding baby goats. So it's been kind of terrible. But
wait, I didn't know that you were attempting to write some things and listening DPR for some guys.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from Daniel though.
No, I don't mind. I help everybody. That's the name of the game, and that's why I wanted to qualify it, because every month I work on 4 editing projects, and I've got currently, one just wrapped up their set of coaching. So technically, until he re-ups, I've got 12 coaching clients that I speak to in a week.
Wow.
That's awesome. I'm really glad, truly, that people see you as the all-encompassed person that you are. I mean, what you provide is just spectacular. From your ability to write different stories. I mean, I have multiple pieces of your work here on my bookshelf, and from the
she's
artwork.
getting to beta read Heir of the Dragon as well.
Oh, nice.
But, and then the way you help people, and it's really nice to be part of this community and to see people like yourself and Justin and I guess Royce, but
we guess.
He's just laying in the bed right now. Like, this motherfucker thinks that
he's just taking a break.
He can't
That just
even
shows
hang.
his confidence in you. That's all that is. He's like, she's got it.
I could totally take over for him. It's fine.
Class the place up a bit.
Oh, big baby, so tired. You're so sleepy.
You can hear him yelling in the background.
Yeah, can't tell what he's yelling.
Okay. Oh yeah, throw something at me. Go ahead. The one working computer in this house. You got 3 beers right here. fuck it up.
Those are empty.
Not the one to my right.
Called out.
Even from this angle, I could feel that stare. Oh, jeez.
If you need to go lay down the law, it's all right. Just turn the screen off.
And mute.
That way. Yeah. Well, you don't have to mute. We'll just pretend we didn't notice.
Yeah, picturing like Looney Tunes style sound
Wait, see,
effects.
Yep.
Put your pants on, Royce. Good times.
Yeah. Working with people is
Lies.
working with people is my favorite part. All the writing is kind of crazy tedious sometimes because I have to parse out my day in 1 hour blocks in order to get everything done. So it's like I'll spend a half hour on a writing sprint and then a half hour to transition myself into the next thing that I need to do.
Oh, that's another
It's
thing.
just
Actually, you got going on
witnessing
with the,
spousal abuse over here in the
Yeah.
left-hand window. What the heck?
That was very rude. You owe Daniel an apology.
Yeah, for sure. It's fucking up my
Apologize.
stream, man.
Right, child.
So you also have a not podcast, a YouTube show that you do. that you've been going
Yeah,
on for
it takes a
while.
backseat to everything else, but when I get the wild hair to do it, I have the freelancer on Sundays. Hasn't happened for a couple of weeks because I've been too busy, but that's getting reformatted. I was doing 2 20-minute writing sprints and then trying to sprinkle some info in between. But I think it's kind of a disservice to anybody that's watching it to just sit there and watch me write for 40 minutes of an hour. So it's going to be one writing sprint, and then we're going to talk about some stuff when I get back to it.
Gotcha. That sounds good. I think there were some people that were writing along with you, though. But I think that format will probably be more accessible to a broader audience. But there's that
Yeah.
as well. On top of everything else you're doing, there's that as well.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a double dip because I'm doing the writing anyways.
That's true. That's true.
And that was the initial draw of doing it. I wanted to inspire other people to write, kind of create a Bob Ross style chill period where they could get some work done on whatever they wanted to do and, write some happy little trees with me. But then I got to the point where I was rewatching the videos and I'm like, how boring is it for someone that isn't writing to just be staring at the side of my face the whole time while I'm going like this?
Yeah, what I would do is I'd scrub until I think it's fast forward until I'm like, oh, he's talking again. All right. Let's see what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, people are probably like fast forwarding through it. So
See, I was going to ask you like a generic, so what do you do when you get stuck on something? You don't know where to go. And I'm like, this motherfucker has 7 other projects he can go to if he gets stuck. So that's
that is
the real,
exactly how it works.
yeah, that's the true,
Why do you think I have so many things to do?
because I'm your wife and you chose someone who has emotional father issues, therefore brings home baby
so if
animals
I
for
get
you
stuck
to
on
do
a
things.
YouTube video, guess what?
You get to build a goat pen.
I have stuff to build for you.
Yep.
If I get stuck on building that, guess what else? I have a barbecue pit to build.
I just told him I want meat rabbits.
Oh,
Sweet.
So-
okay.
It won't be
I'll
till
let
next
rabbits
spring though,
live a
Can you
while.
not
But-
fucking tell the chat that?
but it's
Oh,
already
we're
going to
moving
happen.
From goats to rabbits.
So-
all right.
Both.
So consecutive Iron Age barbecues, we could do rabbit stew. Oh yeah.
I think rabbits are pretty low key. They're small animals. I don't think they require much to care for and all that.
Barbecue
compared to-
rabbit stew, I'm down.
Barbecues. Well, yeah, you can
Barbecue
butcher the meat
stew,
rabbits.
Just like Mimo used to make.
Yeah, you can butcher them at like 8 weeks,
Awesome
8 to
stew.
10 weeks. So
8
yeah,
weeks.
that's
Wow, I didn't know this was that
and you get
fast
about
of a
5
turnaround.
pounds. So it's not bad.
Yeah,
Grow right in the backyard. They're easy,
Sure.
especially with the price of everything. And they pretty
Yeah.
much just eat cloves and lettuce and hay.
Yep.
They're solid.
They're pretty good eating too.
Michael Harris, I envy you.
5-day project's going.
I can't see.
So
the
if we
chat
get
tonight,
meat
it's left
rabbits, are they
out.
actually going to be meat rabbits, or are they going to be your friends now?
Yeah, he's really mad
Yes.
that I wanted meat goats, and then I got Samson, but
Who
he was
say
sickly.
toes?
Like, how do you eat an animal that you just brought back from the brink of death? That's not right. And then he needed a friend. You can't kill his friend.
I love
said
that the
the F
goats
word,
have
now it's
multiplied
so
already.
Easy.
Yeah.
You get your pocket knife out. You go over. You hi, little.
He thinks that we can hear him still. Still, he's going on air. Yeah, and he has no clues.
I need to get a green sock and I'll just write Royce across it so I can use it as a puppet.
Oh, it's a razor fist impression.
Ooh,
Yep.
bitch.
Yeah, except for Royce is never right.
This really motivated me
I
whenever
was
this
wrong,
is
I was
over.
wrong, I was wrong.
Fuck you. Who am I? Fuck you. I was right. Fuck you. I was right. I want that to be my notification.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I'd eat that. I don't think it'd be hard to do. I will say this has definitely motivated me because I've tried to write for the last like 4 or 5 nights, and I have written the first.
Okay, fuck you, bat sauce.
I do.
I'm sure it was gold. I'm sure it was gold.
You're such a toddler.
He said I was having an iDubbbz girlfriend.
Why are
moment.
you
Do
yelling
know
so
that?
loud?
Do you know that internet lore?
No, I don't.
No.
Because that's
Go look up
exactly
that
what you're
internet lore.
doing, Royce.
iDubbbz? I can't.
It
search
sounds
anything.
familiar.
Everything's right here. I can't do anything.
I regret everything.
I know
iDubbbz.
exactly what he's talking about, and that is definitely what Royce is doing right now. You'll see.
I don't understand.
I hate
Some
you,
gay
Daniel.
white boy.
Surprisingly, and well, maybe not surprisingly, one of those chambered projects is a motivation guide for how to get yourself into the mode to write what you want to write or do whatever it is you want to do. Been researching into the psychology behind motivation and personal motivation specifically. Current title, working title for it is The Mood Machine. I've talked with a lot of my clients. They've been part of the process of perfecting this system by engaging in it with me in our sessions. So eventually I'll have that to put out, and my hope is that that won't just inspire writers to get more work done, but it'll be able to apply to anything that you want to do in your life, that just by using these specific program like behavioral modifications to get yourself into the routine of doing it so that you don't end up fighting yourself to get it done like people tend to do. Usually it's one of two things. It's either you fight yourself into doing it or you fight your way out of it by creating excuses to not do it. No, you're married and I don't think of you that way.
So you got the mood machine going on to set up routines and consistency. That's tough. That still requires discipline to follow through on that sort of a program.
It's actually a lot easier than most people realize, and that's why I'm breaking it down the way that I am. It's revolutionized my ability to do what I do on a daily basis and do all the things that I am doing.
Okay.
And
Maybe
applying
this
it to other people, it's worked for them so well that I think it could have broader implications in everyone's lives.
I think this is just me projecting because I've set schedules for myself like that, and I'm like, I need to do this for an hour, and I'm like, but it's nice outside. I'm just gonna go sit out there or something.
No, that's not how it works, Kahuna. Ask Maji-chan. There's a lot more to what goes on in my coaching sessions.
So you got the Kickstarter, or not the Kickstarter, the GoFundMe going on right now for Jisadai 2. Have you been making the rounds
On my comic, yeah.
sorry, fund my comic to get this out there. You
she muted
obviously
it.
here,
Sorry.
which is
I didn't know.
great. We had you on the Iron Seas episode 11 a couple weeks ago. Do you
Yep.
have any other interviews and shows coming up?
Coming up, I'll be on John's Long Box this week coming up.
Oh, awesome.
Have a couple of not confirmed guest spots yet, but I have a couple of talks that I'm in. And I was on an episode of Nerd Bacon with Luke Stone earlier this week.
Oh, good
And yeah, I try to get on shows where I can, but my schedule is so tight that it's a little difficult. I have to sacrifice getting something done in order to go sit and talk with somebody.
I think that's
that's
I
tough.
relate to that 1,000%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's dude, it's anytime you're just like, well, I could work on this thing, but I'm sacrificing time on this thing.
And then there's the
And-
time zone differences too that can be tricky.
Oh,
If you
God,
got
Yep.
somebody in like Australia, they're living it's tomorrow there and it's winter, and you're like, what? And you have to be up at 2 a.m. to talk
And the
to
hard
them or
part
whatever it
is I don't
Dude.
have the mindset like Mike Miller does to be able to just get an open invite link, show up on somebody's show for 10 minutes and then leave. Like, I feel bad. Once I'm on, I want to stay.
Dude, usually if I get an invite link to something, I'm like, okay, I'm at least there for an hour at
Mhm.
least. Like,
Yep.
I'm not just gonna do the 10-minute thing. I'll be there for an hour. If I get it, I don't get invite links anymore. People stop sending those to me.
I get them every
That's
now
sad.
and then from people,
Dude.
and it's sad because like an
Well-
invite from Mike to go to be on one of his live streams, and usually it's the day of, and I have to be like, I can't because I didn't have time to
That
move things
is-
around.
That
it's
is
tricky.
that sucks. How many times has that happened? They're like, dude, we'd love you to be on the show today.
time.
And it's like, when? And they're like, oh, tonight at, and you're like, dude, no, that's I would love to, but like if we're gonna do this thing, that's like a 2 weeks. Like, just say, hey, my show is this day. It doesn't conflict with your other streams. I'm
Mhm.
doing it. I'd love you to be there. Give me 2 weeks. And I just kick it into overdrive for 2 weeks to make sure that I clear my schedule for that. But when people call and they're like, hey, we'd love you to show up on the stream tonight, it's like that's tough, man. And it sucks to say no to people like that. Like, and
It does.
I didn't realize that until that started happening, and I was like, I feel like such an a-hole doing that. But when you're balancing everything, I mean, how many plates do you juggle throughout the day? And it's like, man,
lot.
like, oh yeah, and and I think a lot of people do, and I don't think we're in any unique situation, but it is one of those things. It's just like, man, if I drop stuff, but if I know in advance, and that's why I tell people, like, guys, I would like, because there's some people like, hey, we'd love to have you on the show. I'm like, sweet, 2 weeks out, just reach out to me 2
Darn
weeks
us
before.
and setting boundaries.
Well, dude, it's hard, man. It's
No,
so freaking hard.
There's a lot of fly by the seat of your pants going
Dude.
on.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not even.
and
Dude, even
acting
for
like
some,
everything is fine. It's all fine.
Yeah.
Everything-
oh, dude, even for some of my own streams, I'm just like, I don't know how I'm gonna fit my own stream, which generates money for me, into my day. How am I gonna do that? How does that make any sense? It's like,
Mhm.
it's my thing, it's my business, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna fit that into my day. That doesn't
Yeah,
make any
true.
sense.
Now,
Yeah,
Daniel, this is-
and for me, it's like I have clients that I schedule calls with. So there are specific blocks of every day that are marked off.
Yeah.
And for return, like repeat clients who sign up for the 4-session pack that I have, which is a discounted rate, I try to keep that what they're most comfortable with open for them. So even if it's not confirmed for that week, I still expect that particular block to be filled by our session with them.
That'd be nice.
Plus, I'm doing the 4 editing projects at most every month. Some months, every once in a while, it's like 2 or 3, but most of the time, it's a pretty steady 4, which is really nice. And then I'm doing like pro bono stuff, like working with RH Snow on the Watcher of the Dam series, keeping everything that she's got going on because she's got such a massive library of information.
Oh yeah,
chronologically correct and detail oriented, which is almost an editing job in and of itself. And then I also, for those of you who don't know, I am majority shareholder in a daycare center, so I'm spend at least 3 hours on site making sure everything's running there so that the parents and children are happy, healthy, and safe and getting what they expect out of us. So juggling that, the Whimsyland business, and all of the production of the projects, I have to schedule everything. Literally everything in order for it to happen. And when somebody says, "Hey, come on my show, it starts in 3 hours," I'm like, no.
That's not a thing. Dude,
It's tough too.
there are exactly 5 people in my life that if something comes up, I can absolutely stop my schedule, and that is my wife and my 4 kids. Cute and like, funny enough, like this, before my computer died, they're doing like a free, like a kids matinee, so kids get in for free, parents have to pay the admission, but we're gonna take the kids to a movie. We don't go to movies because it's expensive.
Such a fun experience with
but
kids.
the kids get in free, so and we can afford the snacks and we can afford tickets for us, for everybody. But we're gonna go do that tomorrow, and before my
just load your pockets with dollar store candy.
No. You gotta get that. You gotta get that big ass bucket. Here's what you do. You get a big ass bucket, and then just butter. And you have them, and here's what you do. You put a quarter popcorn and then butter, and then a quarter popcorn and then more butter, and then a quarter popcorn and then more butter. And then you buy Reese's Pieces. And then you buy Reese's Pieces, and you put Reese's Pieces in your hand, and then you put popcorn in your hand, and then you eat the Reese's Pieces and the popcorn at the same time. It's fucking magical. I hate that I like it. I don't know why I like it. Dude, everybody that's ever looked at me sideways like that, just like you guys are looking at me, are like, "You're psychotic. That sounds disgusting." I'm like, "It does. You're right. You're not wrong. It sounds absolutely." It's like
probably delicious, but still, sheesh.
Dude, it's like cinnamon rolls and red chili. Like, you get a nice like elk chili, like a nice with the red beans and all that, and then you take a cinnamon roll and you dip it in the. Dude, I'm telling you, it's a redneck delicacy.
It goes together like peanut butter and pickles.
No, it does not. It ironically goes together like peanut butter and jelly. It is the strangest thing between the sweet of the cinnamon roll and the savory of like the chili. It is.
I'm with you here, Darky Dark. I can feel my arteries constricting the more.
Oh, dude, I can cook you so much unhealthy food. It's amazing. I can cook
diabetes.
So much.
That's when I take a deep fried Oreo and put it
dude,
on
and I only weigh 175 pounds. All this stuff that I'm telling you about, and I only weigh 175 pounds. But anyway, before my computer died, the wife was like, "Hey, this movie thing's going on." I'm like, "Yeah, let's go do that. We'll go do that thing." And like, but those are the 5 people that I will move my schedule for, right? Like if my other family wants me to, like my mom, my dad, brothers, sisters, whatever, like if they want me to halt my schedule, like legitimately somebody better die. Because outside of that, it's like, no, I'm providing for my family. I'm doing everything that I can. I have a community that I'm trying to build. I have a community that I'm trying to uplift as well. All this stuff I have, not necessarily clients, but I mean, on kind of I guess in a weird way, kind of yes, because like
The chat counts, even though you demean them.
The chat demeans me, and they're miscreants and they're delinquents. I keep
They're
fucking telling you.
allowed.
No, they're not. They're miscreants
They are.
and delinquents.
Yeah.
But
You're
anyway,
the dancing monkey. They pay you to dance.
they don't even pay me. Well,
Yeah,
some
they
of them
do.
Some of them do. Some of them do. That's
Aside from the ones that do, none of them do.
well, like Ultimate Kahuna did tonight. But anyway,
Good man.
But no, dude, like, then that's the thing, man. That's what I have canceled on. I have canceled my weekends for barbecues that friends of ours have thrown, for parties that friends of ours, and I've
Chat
literally
lives matter.
no chat lives do not matter. Do not listen to that.
Chat lives matter.
Oh,
Chat
yay!
lives matter.
That's globalist
Oh, you're
propaganda.
saying
You
I'll-
can't listen to that. The globalists are trying to tell you that the chat matters. The chat does not matter. That's all globalist propaganda, and they're trying to make the frogs gay. Chat wants the frogs to be gay. I don't want the frogs to be gay, so don't listen to chat.
I don't really
Royce
care
is
about
literally
the frogs.
Hitler right now.
So I have a question. We're talking about these interviews and trying to get on streams and having to cancel because life gets in the way. Is doing interviews from your experience, because this is what you do on the show here, and that's what we do on the show here. We interview people because we want to sell their product and show them to the people. I would use the phrase we try to sell the person, but that sounds like not a good
No, I say that all the time.
But
Their
No,
job is to sell their
every
product.
time I
My
go,
job
"Oh."
is to sell them. I've literally said that on stream.
So
I've said it on stream.
Picking on you. So
Why do
is
you hate me?
interviewing from your experience, from your experiences, it's probably one of the best ways to get your product out in front of people, to get yourself out in front of people as well, right? So it's something
Yeah.
that's sort of essential to selling whatever it is you're trying to get out there. You sort of have to do this, right?
Yeah, that and spend money. Unfortunately, the adage "you spend money to make money" is absolutely true. I got invited on a professionals podcast just for a 5-minute advertisement for Whimsyland because they were covering writing coaches and editors. It was really fun. They sent me the questions ahead of time, and I just answered them as naturally as possible during the quick little promo interview. But they reached back out and they're like, yeah, we definitely want to have you back on. You were personable. We enjoyed, what you had to say. And I was like, cool. And they're like, yeah, there is a monetary factor to it, I'm sad to say. And I'm like, yeah, I figured there would be.
We'd love
because
to have you back if the price is
well,
right.
that's the thing. I was talking with Cambot on Twix the other day about it, and the Comicsgate stuff came up, of course, because that was what they were all going on about. And the brass tacks of the situation is that as much as we love the creativity and the art of writing, creating comic books, etc., the name of the game is money. You have to treat it like a business.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't. It's all art, Daniel. I don't know what you're talking. It's just
Shut up.
art, and as long as you're speaking your true self through your art and being your true self, Daniel, you've got to be your true self through your art. You don't understand.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
I know. I've told people. Daniel, just dude, I was told on a live stream that the comic business is totally different than any other business on the planet. It's not the same. It's not the same. No, Daniel, you're wrong. The comic business is not the same as any other business. It's not.
I'm picturing a musical IAK episode because now I know you two can sing and I can pretend. So
I cannot sing.
Oh,
I can perform, but I cannot
sing
sing.
wrong really well. Oh wait, this one.
I hate
There you are.
absolute.
I stole that from Scrubs.
Poking you. Oh,
But no, that is the truth. Unfortunately, it has to be treated like a business. You have to generate the funds to keep doing it. Otherwise, you're just wasting your money. And when you waste your money continuously, you're putting yourself on a lifestyle back foot. We've all experienced that. And this past week's worth of conversations in the Discord that we've had privately have been all about the value of your time. Because that's the truth. If I don't fulfill this comic book and I can't afford to spend from the coffers of G Sedai et al., the books, the Audible, and the comic funds, I can't continue to make comic books. Because it costs money to produce these things.
Yeah, it's
I can shed my blood if I want, but I'm just going to die in the end. And that doesn't do us any good either.
The phrase, support what you like or it goes away. That's.
I was talking with my buddy today about time, and I was like, I think there's 168 hours in a week. I think, is that what it is? Is it 168?
What?
Hours in a week.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to math. I've had like 4 drinks.
I'm not going to math. I've had like 4 drinks. Let me. Right. Yeah. Let me just.
I can be wise.
Yeah, it's 168. Okay, so my memory was correct. So there's 168 hours in a week, and I told my buddy, and I was like, I think I sleep about 40 to 45 hours a week. And my buddy was like, dude, that doesn't sound like enough. And I'm like, why? He goes, because that's like 6.5, 7 hours a night. I'm like, yes.
Well, right. 6 hours is fine.
Yeah. No, but that's what I do is I sleep about 6 hours. So subtract. So you subtract 40 hours, give or take. You subtract 40 hours from, 168, and I am fucking balls to the walls with all of my fucking projects, plus my day job, plus projects with the family, plus trying to be a husband and a father for 128 hours a week. So when people bitch about working 40 hours a week, I'm like, dude, I put in 45 to 50 hours a week. Then I come home, I put an additional 30 in on YouTube, and then I'm still trying to be a husband and a father on top of that. My favorite fucking game, which I can't play because my computer is dead right now. My favorite fucking game that's been released this year, which is Power World. You guys have heard me talk about it. I have played a grand total of 7 hours in the last 3 months. In 3 months, I have played my favorite game a grand total of 7 hours because... Oh, and one of those times was literally me saying, fuck it all. And I think it was Memorial Day. I had the day off and I literally sat there and did nothing but Power World for 7 months. A half hour of that was the fact that I was doing a Power World video and had to log on to literally, but like, that's the thing is it's like, when you're doing the things that you love doing, you don't realize how much time you put into them. And I can confidently look at somebody and say, I work. Let's just say, okay, let's say I take a smoke break and just to sit on my ass for an hour every night. So that's 5 hours a week. But I can confidently look at somebody and say, I work 125 hours a week, almost nonstop. If I'm not working, I'm sleeping. And I think that that's a lot of that mentality. It's just like you don't realize, and when you quantify it like that, because people talk about working for 40 hours a week and how hard it is. And it's like, dude, I heard something on a podcast a few weeks back, and I think it's true. If you want to spend money without looking at your wallet, you need to work without looking at the clock.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was dance like nobody's looking or something.
I don't know. Maybe it was. It's probably something like that.
ABG, always be grinding.
Always be grinding, right? Yeah, you do. Always. Don't stop. Like,
I thought the G was going to stand for something else.
Always be grifting. Always
Coming
be
from
gay.
Mr. LGF, yeah, I figured as much.
All right. Always be dope. No, but do you guys? So that was kind of a long way, but do you guys experience a similar thing? Just with your projects, your day jobs, your, like you just.
Yeah.
Justin's got a face.
Sure.
It's like,
It's the
sure,
kind of
I
thing, like,
totally know what that is.
I work 190 hours a week, you bum. You why don't you do more? Gosh, 6 hours must be nice. I don't sleep. I just inject
The
Red
secret
Bull
is I'll
into
just
my-
go insane in a week.
So funny thing is, I know because I had that mental. I know what it's like to
7 days
just
of insomnia and you're legally insane.
no. Yeah, no. I can tell you right now that I will have a nervous breakdown after a month of 2 hours of sleep, an energy drink a day, and a Reese's fast break.
Yeah,
And that's how
you
I
will.
lived. That was kind of a rough part of my life. And Albany and I were going through that 5-year itch because we were fighting a lot and just shit wasn't. But yeah, I can tell you right now that after and nonstop, there was no slowdown. And then I'm in between work meetings, and I'd been running on 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night for a month. And a Reese's fast break every day because I wasn't eating because I was so stressed out, and an energy drink. And I'm driving to a meeting. And while I'm driving, I start to shake. My chest gets really fucking tight. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And fucking tears start pouring out of my eyes. And I'm like, and the weird part is I'm not feeling like emotionally a fucking thing.
Consciously.
No, yeah, consciously, I'm not feeling a thing, but my body is reacting to this month of bullshit that it's just gone through. And I'm like, and I literally park in the parking lot, and I like have to force myself from like not fucking crying because I'm going from one meeting to a fucking another, and I'm sitting there, and now I can't catch my fucking breath no matter how fast I fucking breathe, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through this meeting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like, dude, so yeah, 2 hours of sleep, low nutrition for a month. Yeah, that'll get you there.
It's a bad idea. Bad idea.
It's
But
a
you
very
gotta-
bad idea.
Well, I didn't know I was doing it until that happened.
Couple that with what creators go through, it's
Oh,
a recipe for a lot of psychological stress. 'Cause, I
Oh,
mean,
dude.
not just that side, but you also have the that imposter syndrome sense that you go through with everything that you put out. It was hard for. It's gotten easier the more things I've done, and I wanted to mention that there's a workshop group. I think it's called 20 books to 50K, and it's
I've heard of
actually statistically true. About 50K
Oh, there it is.
in revenue from 20 intellectual properties being out there. So it's true. The way they go about it, I think, is kind of long-winded, and it sucks the money right out of your soul, but it's not wrong. And that's kind of why I grind as hard as I do. I'm trying to hit that point where I can dovetail directly from having that much revenue coming in into even greater projects and supporting everybody else. My ultimate goal with Whimsyland is to go from writing coach stuff. Oh, dude, sidebar, Tim Allen, power naps.
Dude,
Porta crapper or not, yes. There have been times where I've cut short one of my work sessions to just lean back and close my eyes for 10 minutes. Because I am just that drained. It's wild. So yeah,
Dude,
power naps are fantastic.
dude, I used to leave job sites. Like if I was that tired, I used to leave job sites because it'd be like, okay, it's 30 minutes to get here. So I'd get my paperwork done. I'd leave the job site 40 minutes before I was going to get to the next one. And I'd park like 3 blocks down from the job site. And I just lay back for 10 minutes. I just need 10 minutes. And actually, even my old boss is like, guys, if you need to do that, he's like, I'd rather you do that than crash your car. He's like, 10 minutes. I'm not even gonna bitch about paying you guys 10 minutes. You do good work for us. But dude, I've totally been there.
Siestas are essential, man.
Dude, it's well, and like I don't my problem is I always feel worse after I do that because like I hate naps with a passion, because for me, if I lay down, I'm gone for 4 hours. Like that, because I don't nap, I sleep. And if
Royce is a shark, confirmed.
Dude, if I do nap, I wake up and I feel like I got hit by a brick shit house, and it just doesn't feel good.
Royce,
I fucking hate you, God. It's stuck in my head now. God, I hate you.
Never seen or been into a brick shit house.
It's a porter crapper, but from like 100 years ago.
I guess that's why I've never been in one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also,
Also,
they're very strong and they last a long time. So if you ever meet a really big guy and they say, hey, don't fuck with that guy, he's built like a brick shit house, basically don't mess with that guy, because he's going to hit really hard and you're going to feel like shit after you go, you know.
I usually walk
through.
up to him and say, you're a shit house. That's usually the...
This is not the way.
Although I do like the descriptive term, Matt is a shithouse rat.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
it's
I
a
want to
good
show
one.
everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
Tim Allen, if
we
you
good
are
time
there,
there.
I don't know if you've
Rolling
seen this
around.
yet. This one
Getting
is actually
food
for
up?
Tim
No.
Allen.
Yeah, rats. They love that.
Nope, not that one. There we
It's
go.
like their favorite.
All right, so before, because I'm starting to fade, and also my bedroom does
Pansy.
not get AC, so it's really hot. But I wanted to show this, especially, to Tim Allen, because he a fellow welder. I am an amateur welder, but I wanted to show the new barbecue and how it's coming along. I just got the second rack installed.
I thought that was a prop from Star Wars Acolyte.
Where did it go? There it is. But
Yeah, it does a little bit look like the face mask that Leia wears when
Or like
she
a
infiltrates
background
Jabba.
robot.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea. I'm going to tell you right now that
The
this
background
top right
smoking
here,
something.
the split lid right there, has caused me more fucking headache and heartache, and is still doing it.
It's a carapace lid, right?
It looks like it's smiling at us, though.
Dude,
Kinda like
it's
a pufferfish
literally the
smile.
top of the fucking it's the top of the propane tank.
Yeah, but it's a carapace lid. You have it mounted so that you can just rotate it into and
Yes.
close it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Carrot-
But
carapace.
But because of the heat and the warping, and these two tops are no longer the same anymore, it has given me a lot of heartaches. So, but I'm really, really freaking excited about this thing. I'm really excited to get it. Like, I just got the second rack in, so we've got 2 cooking grates. There is a lot of cooking space here. We'll be able to cook a whole bunch of stuff on this.
So do you put like Vienna sausages and marshmallows in there?
No more. Oh, you joke, good sir.
Vienna
joke.
sausages and marshmallows.
More like we'll
Dude,
be able
smoked
to
Vienna
put a
sausages.
pork belly on top and get crispy skin pork belly like you do in North Carolina barbecue. And then on the bottom here, obviously, we have to make sure that, no, pork doesn't, but we could do veggies, burgers, quick steaks, all kinds of stuff, dude. But
Pork
like this.
knees.
And then what I am going to do is I have some extra metal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the extra metal out into a half, kind of like a half moon shape.
extra metal.
Extra metal.
Well, hey, that extra metal is going to turn into a half moon shape. I'm going to clean the hell out of it and make sure that it's good to go. And I'm going to have my own personal flat top grill out here. So let's say we decided we wanted to make, bacon, egg smash burgers.
Smoke some Reese's.
No, we're not smoking Reese's. My children would for s'mores, because then my children make s'mores with Reese's. But
That's a pro tip right there. The s'mores with the Reese's.
with the
that is
Reese's
a pro
or
tip.
Snickers. Have you done it with a Snickers before?
I have not. You
It's-
madman.
It's
No, because I don't have diabetes.
The kids once in a while, Dad, you have to have a s'more with us. Come on, Dad. I'm like, I don't want to. Dad, Will you please have us more?
What
All
about,
right.
what
all
about
right.
a smoked Bush Light? You ever put one of those in there?
No.
A little bit?
No, but what I am gonna do is I'm gonna do smoked cast iron
Smoked
baked
White
beans.
Claw.
I thought you just said smoked cat. I thought that's what you were about to say.
No, I'll smoke a cat. I don't care. I don't think you understand. I mean, like it's illegal. You can't cook cat. Why
that's
not? The
illegal?
Chinese do.
It's illegal? Really?
Yes, certain domesticated animals, it's illegal to cook them unless you have religious BS or whatever. But yeah,
It's,
but-
it's part of my religion to eat a
Yeah.
cat that's been smoked.
well, no, they're like you. I
Excuse
can't
me,
eat-
officer. There's
Yeah,
nothing to
like,
see here,
yeah,
sir.
people are like, "Oh, you're abusing a cat," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. It was a meat cat." Oh, can
What
you
are you
just imagine?
cooking?
Can you just
Chicken.
imagine the Karens out there? There's a what? It's they're meat cats. What are you talking about? Like
This
I breed
sounds like
them
a great
fat-
Meat cat sounds like a comic book that'd be out there.
Some Florida Everglades shit.
All right,
It's an animal. You can cook it.
gentlemen, what do you do? Where can we find you?
Well, we already know what I do. I've been
Yeah,
talking
that's
about it
true.
all freaking
That
night.
is true.
I make music. I've done music for G Sedai. I've done music for Brian McCoppin, for Iron Age Media, a bunch of other projects. I got a bunch of things in the work. Wrapping up a dual single with Chill Kid at the moment. Maybe doing another track that's going to be also with Chill Kid. That's going to be an industrial metal type thing with
That's fucking cool.
with Delta blues. I don't know. I got the request. I'm like, all right.
Wait,
we'll
no,
try to
that
make it
almost
happen.
sounds like Clutch.
I know
Did
that
you ever
name.
listen to Clutch?
I did play snowboard motocross 2003, so I probably have heard them.
No, no.
No, they weren't on that soundtrack. I think
Wait,
they
you
were.
don't know Clutch?
I know the name. I'm sure I've heard them, but I
Dude,
don't
they're
remember them.
They were
Are
one of
they
those cross genre bands
Clutch?
that did like blues and industrial metal that like was one of those like what you just didn't hear it back then. And I think that's why they didn't hit it big is because it was one of those. But like if you're a musician and you hear what they're doing, you're just like, oh my God. So all the musicians in the crowd are just joygasming on this and everybody else is like, what the fuck? What do we think this sound? It doesn't sound, you know what I mean?
I'll have to look them up. I know the name.
Joygasm.
I'm sure I'll recognize at least one or two.
What movie is that from, chat? Sorry, go on, Justin. I
That's
apologize.
no, you're fine. I'm like, well, that's a movie. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Joygasm. Yes. it's
Clutch
very-
is hipster dad
Very true.
hardcore, according to Michael Harris.
I'm gonna ban the fuck out of him.
Oh man. Oh yeah, and also Tuesday nights. If you want to ride high on the Iron Seas, it's a great time to hang out. Mr. Daniel P. Riley was there a couple weeks ago. It's me, Bat Sauce, who's I'm sure he's in the chat, and his missus. Hilarious.
Oh yes.
So it's it's Mr. Bat Sauce with his short bus shenanigans, short bus veteran shenanigans, we'll call them. We got AC Pritchard, which he's been on the show before with his saga of Sunsets out there currently, and everybody knows I would woo very loudly, but I'm upstairs and I'll wake everyone. Mr. Ultimate Kahuna. And yeah, every Tuesday night we watch a movie, we have a poll out there, and we get feedback. We talk about the movie, we hang out, we have fun, we talk about deeper
They make
topics.
mostly bad movie choices.
I was told by somebody
Oh, they're all
that
good.
I need to be on that,
All
and
of
we
them
need
are
to
really
talk
good.
about the Boondock Saints.
Yeah, man, we'd love to have you on there.
Oh,
For
dude,
sure.
like I said, just as
Now,
if somebody.
we can't guarantee Boondocks will win, though. We'll have to pick a theme, and then it'll go to the vote. And as it goes, you vote, we decide.
Okay,
That's how it
so
works.
I am less likely to talk about a movie if it's one I haven't seen.
Well, you have to watch it. That's
So-
part of the fun.
Yeah, I know. I just talked about time.
Yeah, you have to waste more of your
Yeah,
time
yeah,
before you
yeah.
go on the Iron Seas.
Brush off,
Dude,
those
literally
things.
the only movie that I've watched recently was The Incredibles 2, and that was 2 weeks ago. And I sat there with a notepad taking notes on that so I could write a script for my freaking video.
That was a good video, man. You the delivery was good on that. It made me
Oh,
want to go and
thank
watch
you.
the movie. I've never seen
Thank
it
you.
before.
That sauce
it was-
says you can't dodge the Legend of Korra debate, Royce.
I don't care. It's like that show is that show gets a lot of crap because
Shut it down. Shut it down.
All right. Before we continue,
That's a wrap.
so no. Because I wanted to say this earlier and I didn't get to it. Guys, Sunday Coffee is going to change back to its original format. For those of you who have been around that long, you guys know what that means. Because I need to start moving things around and shuffling things in my schedule. Sunday Coffee is going to be pre-recorded. And I may do it live once in a while, but I do not have time to segment out a part of my Sundays like that anymore. I just can't. So Sunday Coffee.
Definitely homo bat sauce.
Yeah, probably. So Sunday Coffee, I will still be reading your comments. It will not be live. It will be a pre-recorded video where I go through, I read your comments. You'll still get your rants and stuff out of me because I can just do that. But I need to be able to get some time back with the family on Sundays. If I pre-record it either late Saturday night or even early Sunday morning before the rest of the family gets up, ultimately it's going to be a lot of the same show. And that will be on the main channel. I will be doing Sunday Coffees back on the main channel once a week now. So I'll be commenting on all the comments that you guys leave there. But yeah, so Sunday Coffee is not going to be live this week. I will, however, set it up as a premiere. So what that means is that YouTube will push it out. And when YouTube pushes it out, it's going to look like it's live. You guys are going to have a live chat. You're going to go in there. You're going to be able to talk. I'll probably jump in with you guys and say hi. I'll tell my wife, hey, 11 o'clock, let's jump in with the chat. But it is going to go back to the pre-recorded version of Sunday Coffee because I need to move some things around in my schedule. And it just, yeah, that's one of the things. It's like, I don't want to give up Sunday Coffee. It was either give up Sunday Coffee or pre-record it. And I don't want to give up seeing what your guys' thoughts are every week, so on and so forth. So I'm like, Justin, fuck off.
I'm singing the song about never giving you up, never letting you down, never running around.
Thanks for being here, everybody. We're going to play the song now that I have to play from this side because I don't have the...
Never say goodbye.
It's this one. Bye.
No.
Wait, we can unmute while the branding plays? When did that start?
Look,
Well, no.
That's
They
because
used
you're
to say
running
that-
the intro again, bro.
I
Look,
know.
it's Razor Fist.
Yeah, because I don't have the... Dude, this isn't my setup.
Fail stream.
Fuck off. I hate all
Ladies
of
and
you
gentlemen,
so
you know him. He's the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who's running Iron
Yeah,
Age
yeah,
Media,
yeah.
creator
That guy
of
is old
Bill
news.
Anthology.
Wait,
I know.
Iron Age.
I know there was supposed to be a new one, but I didn't get to it because I didn't get to it. So,
I
He's
heard
the
it's,
man who
Yes, stream.
will
prepare yourselves, is
absolutely
what I
make
heard about
you
it.
change. And by making you change, what I mean by that is he is going
I hate
to help you
That
change
guy is
from
lame.
having
He
that
works
story
way
in
too
your
hard.
head to putting it on
way
paper and
too
putting it in
hard.
people's hands. And this is the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel P. Riley of Whimsyland.org.
Oh, that sounded
Number one, Iron Age Booty Daddy.
What show is this from?
He likes goats.
I love goats.
I know that guy. He likes goats a lot.
I fucking hate all of
I
you.
love goats.
I think it's
I was told I was going to get
wants-
goats for food, and
wants
now I'm told that our
goats.
goats are
And
more...
rabbits.
Are for
And
pets.
cows. And an emu.
I don't want, and no, I might cut my wife off from getting animals because she's like, no, we're gonna get them. They're gonna be livestock. They're gonna,
Yeah.
and they're not. They never are. It's just they're
emu.
pets.
I heard emo.
You will love them
Cut
and
people.
squeeze them and call them George.
So cometh the
Man, what-
Iron
what's that
Age
from?
of media.
That's the parody of.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning to Iron Age Nights. I will see you all on Sunday Coffee in the pre-recorded.
Thanks for
I'll be in the live
enjoying-
chat, guys. I'll see you on Sunday Coffee. Have an awesome weekend, everybody.
Look at the rabbits.
Good night, everybody.